Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the November 24th, 2025 Board of Aldermen meeting for the City of Town and Country. I now call this meeting to order and would ask everyone to rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I would now ask the city clerk to call roll for attendance.
Alderman Friedman. Here. Alderman Gerber.
Here.
Alderman Harder.
Here.
Alderman Hughes. Here. Alderman Kinsella.
Here.
Alderman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Sawyer.
Here.
And Alderman Schwer.
Present.
Mayor Remus presiding, we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have a couple sets of minutes to approve. The first is from the 11/10/25 special meeting. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There's no one's opposed. Thank you. Next is from the 11/10/25 regular meeting. Seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Alderman Kinsella.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a note on this particular minutes, because if you look at Mr. Riley's comments on page 2, he mentions that the subdivision created some runoff, and he was concerned about that. But it doesn't say what subdivision. So I think adding the words Stonemont Court in front of the word subdivision, we add clarity for anyone who had to read these minutes later.
Thank you.
Is there a second to that motion then?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor,
Yes.
could I just note for the record that in addition to that amendment, I will also be correcting a couple of Scrivener's errors. On the special meeting minutes, the date will be corrected. And then on the regular meeting minutes, there was an incorrect name under Alderman Murphy's report and an incorrect address under Alderman Hughes' report. So those will both be corrected and reflected in the final minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And we do have, here's time we're here from citizens. We have one citizen who would like to speak. It's Lou, is it Salamone?
Mary, I'm so sorry. Before we go on to that, can we get a voice vote on the minutes as amended?
Oh. All in favor of the minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you for
Thank
that
you so much.
clarification. Mr. Salamone.
Thank you. Bruce Alimony, 319 Quinmore in Baldwin. That's the Deer Capital, Management Capital of the United States in St. Louis. So I'm asking you to table the Town and Country's Whitetail Deer Management. Maybe take a good look at it again. It's from the former administration, and there's a lot of NBC falsehoods in that. And that's my opinion. Review our proposal for whitetail deer management, and also consider an open forum to receive facts and opinions about deer management. It's your first forum. The question was asked, can bow hunting work for us? And the people on the panel looked at each other and they made Aaron Shank answer the question. We don't have any data to support that. There's plenty of data, so that's a falsehood. And we could supply you with all the facts which are currently going around town and country. One more page, bear with me. We are asking for a 300 prorated deer removal up to the city's desired amount. This is the proposal. We're asking for $5,000 upfront for equipment utilization up to 15 locations for deer reduction maintenance, and it's prorated at 300 per deer. So like after 16 deer, we break even on our equipment. If you're a fly fisherman, if you're a bird hunter, you understand how expensive it is, and we don't want to risk the upfront cost, which is a lot. A set is a stand, that's about $350 minimum, and if you put a couple cameras up, that's $450. Those cameras can do your deer surveys for the rest of your, all over the town. That's what we do every place else. We get so much information from cameras. And it's only a 2-payment plan. After the final end of the season, when the numbers total, whatever it is, that's what you pay out. The deer harvest reporting, it's emailed to the city, the date, age, sex, and age class of the deer. And the harvest verification, that's important. Verification is important. So we screenshot our map location, the view from the stand, the harvest view of the animal. It's a 4-step proprietary verification. Our Facebook page has only 1 step. I have a Facebook page, and it verifies we harvest deer. We do a whole deer removal. I don't know about white buffalo. They put the bags over their head. They say it's so they don't throw up. Do they field dress the deer? We don't. We don't have to put bags over their head because we kill them almost immediately. Not like when you get sharp shot in the back of the head, you're paralyzed, and then they put the bags over their head to suffocate them. Sorry to say that, but it's the truth. That's another falsehood that they stated that it's a better kill. It is not a better kill than bow hunting, especially when professionals do it. The sex class, and that's another falsehood or a flawed program of the white buffalo. They're 50-50, male and female. We're 90-10. 9 goes to 1 buck is what we harvest. That will reduce your recruitment immediately. There's a reason why you've been tied to them for 12 years, and Al's hair has grown that long in the last 12 years because you're tied to them because it's just, you can't get away from them because they don't kill enough females. And they're getting paid to kill bucks, which is wrong. I know it's 3 minutes.
You can go a little more. Go ahead.
Yeah, we don't use bait. Minimal city involvement, manpower. All we need is just the information, like where they have hunted. And we would ask the people, do you prefer the sharpshooter or do you prefer us? Let the people decide. Back in the day, Mason Valley came to you and said, just give us a bow hunter. Well, that didn't happen. They put collars on deer and they sterilized them in that neighborhood. We will notify all contiguous neighbors, all surrounding neighbors, with a mail notification that we're doing that procedure, just in case if the deer goes off property, which is few and far between. Please consider it, have a discussion about it. We hope to not do the sharpshooting anymore, okay? Thank you.
Mr. Alderman, thank you for coming up and presenting that. We will get to that bill in a little while, and I'll see if there's an appetite for that or not. I have to say, we have been pretty happy with White Buffalo these last few years, but I appreciate your comment.
It's flawed though. Everything that was told to you in the previous administration, what was told to you by NBC, it's all false. You can read the recent deer management report from Wildwood. The information they're providing is tainted to make them believe that bow hunting is ineffective. The pair has done sharpshooting for 3 years, so we asked them not to. And they do it in Bitterwood Park and Phantom Forest, and then they have a managed hunt in there, and a managed hunt comes up with no deer. They can't kill deer because there's no deer. But they say managed hunts are efficient. They use 5% of the deer harvest in St. Louis County from managed hunts to say that bow hunting is inefficient, 5%. Managed hunts only account for 5% of bow kills in St. Louis County. So everything they give you is flawed to enrich their associate.
I think I get it. All right, thank you.
Mayor, for the record, the proposal that was distributed to the board in advance of the meeting will be attached to tonight's minutes as well.
Thank you. No public hearings, I believe no appointments. I will now recognize the board's opportunity to provide reports. Alderman Harder.
Okay, on the PFE Commission, just a couple of things as we're heading into the holiday season. This Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, is the annual Guns and Hoses fundraiser. And if you've never gone, it is a great time. Do we have any contestants?
No, sir.
We have smart officers.
Hey, just thought. So we can go and cheer the other guys get beat up. Okay, on December 1st and 15th, every year, Cardinal Glennon hosts a Light Up Glennon. Now, during these events, first responders from all over the area and members of the public surround Cardinal Glennon just after dark. The public brings flashlights and first responders activate emergency lights to give the children and their families a colorful light show. And Town and Country Police does participate in that at least once they will, and maybe twice this year, we'll see. So that's just another good event to help with the children during the season.
Thank you. Thank you. Alderman Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. The December 1st Architecture Review Board meeting has been canceled for lack of new business. The next scheduled Architecture Review Board meeting is set for Monday, January the 5th at 5:30 p.m. and all are welcome. And I'd like to take an opportunity to thank all the members of the Architecture Review Board for donating their time, talent, and expertise, not only to the board, but to the city. It's been a pleasure working with them.
Thank you. Alderman Murphy.
Thank you, Chairman. In this season of giving thanks, I'm going to join the bandwagon here. The Parks and Trails Commission really wants to express their appreciation for the sponsors of upcoming events. People's National Bank, Get Centered Counseling, and Missouri Baptist Medical Center are supporting our turkey trot this coming Thursday morning starting at 9 a.m. Full details are available on the website. I will add that we've got about 344 registrants for this event. That's up from 208. That's over 63% of an increase. Communications will be going out to all registrants in the next day or so. We are allowing or encouraging people to pick up their shirts, finish their registration process on Wednesday from 10 to 12, or next Monday they can come in at any time during the day, 7:30 to 5 p.m. to get their shirts and all that. In addition, our Winterfest team adds their appreciation to sponsors of our December 6th Winterfest. The lighting ceremony that you mentioned sounds great, but it's going to pale in comparison to what the mayor and the board are going to be able to show on December 6th. Thank you to People's National Bank, Bloom Lighting, Missouri Baptist Medical Center, Jet Set, Modern Pilates, Aldine, Heating and Cooling, Raising Cane's, Nothing But Cake, Renewal by Anderson, and West News Magazine for all your sponsorship support. Wow, we got a lot of sponsors pulling in for our Parks and Trails activity, which was a big objective a few years ago, and applause to Ann Nixon and team for making all that stuff happen. Winterfest again will run Saturday, December 6th from 1 to 7, the last hour and a half with lights, the River Blenders Choir, and a special snow experience. We will guarantee light, manageable snow that evening. We have the magic of Town and Country behind it. Reminder to all that Santa will be cruising down Clayton Road from 141 to Town Square a little before 2 p.m. on that day. Again, please visit the website for full details. Thank you.
You said 344 people signed up.
344 on the turkey trot.
So far. And how many shirts did we order?
We have 600 shirts.
Okay, great.
And the shirts will look, I'm showing this on camera, sorry.
I like it.
If I could ask you to grab the other arm, so we can show it for the public out there, because they're going to be very envious of this. When people are walking around the city of Town and Country, donning this beautiful blue and gold. It's a great feature. So anyway, I look forward to seeing everyone at the event. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Kinsella.
Thank you, Mayor. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on Wednesday, November 19th, and took action on one item, a driveway gate at 1377 South Mason Road. The item was approved 7-1. There will be no December meeting due to a lack of new business, and the next meeting of Planning and Zoning will take place on Wednesday, January 21st.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shelton, I think you have a report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to let the board know, our Public Works Director, Todd Ray, received notice today from the Missouri American Water Company that they're going to be doing a water main replacement the first 2 weeks of December in front of Principia, and they will be closing the Clayton Road Trail for those 2 weeks in that section for that water main replacement. So we're going to be sending out email and Facebook notifications just to let everybody know. The only other item I have is to give thanks to the Mason Ridge Garden Club. As you all hopefully saw their report, Ms. Nixon and I met with them. They've put in more than 1,000 hours this past year at Longview in the gardens. They're master gardeners. Obviously, they do a fantastic job, donate their time and then actually some of their own money to keep the gardens in Longview looking beautiful. So our thanks to Mason Ridge Garden
Yeah,
Club.
and I think a real testimony to the job they do is that how many people get prom pictures, senior pictures, engagement pictures taken there. I mean, that is such a beautiful spot that they, that really, they do a wonderful job, and they're probably, by the mayor anyway, a little underappreciated, so I thank them for what they do. Alderman Short, did you have a comment?
Is that in relation to their entrance?
Correct. Yeah, they need to relocate the water main in order to put the new entrance in that the board approved. So yes, that's part of it. Thank you.
That will affect the traffic on Clayton Road.
No impacts on traffic.
But I think, from talking to the folks at Principia, the actual construction to change where the entrance is, basically at the bottom of the hill, won't start till the spring.
Sounds like it, yeah.
So it's that. Okay. You're good?
Good.
Okay, next moving on to unfinished business, bill number 25-49, supported by Alderman Gerber. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2549 is an ordinance approving a conditional use and authorizing a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a permanent outdoor game court located at 13770 Stonemont Court in the city of Town and Country.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Alderman Gerber.
As I wanted to make couple of comments on this. Last week, we had a couple of people from the neighboring subdivision come in and express some concerns about the water runoff and certain things like that. And that's something that's very dear to my heart, is protecting residents against water runoff from construction projects. Now, these residents were not in Town and Country, they actually live in the county. But what I was very happy to see is the cooperation, even though they're not members, people in Town and Country, cooperation from the owners of the new house. The fact that they're not here, yeah, so that was, or yours, okay, were they going to speak? I don't know. But I went back and looked there myself, and the way the berms are and everything, it looks like the water is going to flow right down into this big 18-inch pipe and right on out of it. It looked like it was a lot better than some of the other situations we've had around town. I also want to say I was happy to hear other aldermen last week, or last meeting, 2 weeks ago, questioning about that issue, because we're all concerned about that. And I also am proud that we are concerned, even though they're not in Town and Country. I think that's the right way to do it, to be concerned about our neighbors, and I think that I wish our neighbors were that concerned about us too. So that's all I want to say.
Alderman Kinsella.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to thank the homeowners, Mr. and Mrs. Sayer, who attended the public hearing. And having heard all of the questions that came from the residents that were situated behind them, they were here to answer all those questions and put minds at ease. And it certainly makes for a more civil discussion when the homeowners can be there and answer the questions, and it settles things very quickly. But thank you.
I completely agree with that. Any other discussion? If not, I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
And Alderman Friedman.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4720.
Next, bill number 25-50, supported by Alderman Sawyer. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2550 is an ordinance accepting the proposal of Danziger and Markoff LLP to provide GASB 75 actuarial services for other post-employment benefits for retirees for fiscal years 2025 through 2029.
Seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Any discussion? That's the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella. Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Friedman.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
and Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4721.
Thank you. Next bill number 25-51, sponsored by Board as a whole, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2551 is an ordinance authorizing a renewal agreement with Delta Dental of Missouri for participation by the city of Town and Country in a group dental benefit plan for its employees.
Seek a motion and second to approve.
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Alderman Murphy?
Thank you, Chairman. To Mr. Dolly, I know we sent some communications back and forth earlier. I just wanted to clarify. So in my quick research, I found that dental insurance was going up about, on average in Missouri, upwards to 10%. So obviously this is a 6.5% increase. What was the increase from in 24?
It was 8%.
8%. All right, so we're still kind of staying under that cap. And feedback from the employees on the service itself?
So I had only one employee regarding dental who had requested that we look into orthodontic services to a higher degree, because right now, dental plans in general don't focus on orthodontia benefits much at all. But his interest was for us to look into that. So for the next year, we will definitely look and have our broker look at it and see if we can do it, or at least if there's a possibility, maybe offer 2 separate dental benefits, one to employees who have no interest in that, and then a higher benefit level for those employees who are.
Okay, thank you for your investigation.
Any other discussion? As the city clerk for roll call vote.
Alderman Murphy?
Aye.
Alderman Hughes?
Aye.
Alderman Friedman?
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer?
Aye.
Alderman Schwer?
Aye.
Alderman Gerber?
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella?
Aye.
And Alderman Harder.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4722.
Thank you. Next bill number 25-52, sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2552 is an ordinance adopting a voluntary vision care benefit plan through IMED for the employees of the city of Town and Country.
Thank you. Seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Alderman Kinsella.
Thank you. I guess this is for Joanne's question. Do we have 10 employees that are looking for vision care? Because it does say that we need 10 to qualify. Do we have that easily?
Yes, we have at least 10 employees.
Okay.
I see 3 wearing glasses.
This may not be a representative.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. We're
Any other discussion? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Friedman.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
And Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4723.
Thank you. Next bill number 25-53, also sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time, please?
Bill number 2553 is an ordinance authorizing the city of Town and Country's continued participation with Standard Insurance Company for group life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance and group long-term disability insurance for its employees.
Thank you. Seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Friedman.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
And Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4724.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, this is resolution number R12-2025, a resolution granting the city administrator authority to extend the waiver of inspection fee incentive program authorized via ordinance number 4673 for a period of 1 additional year ending on December 31st, 2026. Seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Alderman Murphy.
Mr. Shelton, we shared some communications on that. Would you be able to give us a little bit of a perspective in terms of how effective this program was the past year?
Yeah, that's a great question. We believe that the program was very effective. We had several new businesses, new office tenants move in, and what they're paying in business license fees in year one alone are more than the amount we waived in inspection fees. So your inspection fees would have been about $27,000. Their business license in year one is 47. The 27 is a one-time, the 47 reoccurs for however long they're in the space. So I think it's been a fantastic program and encourage a renewal. And we had a broker who represents a large amount of office who said they've been successful with it.
Now, you're very well known for your memory on detail and all that. So do you recall in 2024 what our license or our inspection fees were?
I do not have that number. No, that's a tough one. I don't know. Even Joanne probably doesn't know that one. Might be in our budget.
If you could just check on that.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that.
Alderman Schwer.
How did that affect the vacancy rate?
We haven't run the total vacancy rate, but we've, from business license, we have not, Morgan, had a lot of vacant businesses who are not renewing compared to these new businesses, for the most part. Some of these are current businesses who've remodeled, but we've not. So I would say it has decreased our vacancy rate.
All in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried unanimous. Next, bill number 25-54, perhaps sponsored by the board as a whole without objection. Would the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2554 is an ordinance approving the budget and authorizing budgeted expenditures for the budget year beginning January 1, 2026.
Thank you. I'm going to invite our finance director to the podium for a budget presentation. I think Mr. Shelton will have some comments. But I do want to remind the board, this is the first reading, so when they're finished, it's not open to discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Dowd.
Good evening again. It's so nice to be able to present on the budget this evening. So the first slide that I want to show you here is just an illustration of a few of the major steps in the budget development and approval process. And you'll see that I'm showing you close to the bottom, the November 24th, which is tonight. And then, of course, the next meeting will have the public hearing, and hopefully you'll adopt the 2026 budget. For this particular slide, I'm showing the 2025 end-of-year budget summary. All I want to say about this particular slide is that if you look at the very bottom, you'll see the general fund ending fund balance percentage of 107%. And you might recall that our fund balance policy states that it must be at least 50%. So we're in a very good spot at end of fiscal year for 2025. You'll see this is the proposed for 2026, and if you look again at the bottom, you'll notice that is now 89%. And we would expect it to be as such because now it includes certain expenditures. And if you look under the budget request expenditure, and you look particularly, and I don't know if I can, so if you look at the 7 million amount and the amount right below that of 7.636, those are the two areas where we have large capital expenditures, particularly under the capital improvement fund. We have the facilities projects that are budgeted in 2026. And then we have some projects in the parks and stormwater fund as well. And I will peel the onion back a little bit when we get a little bit further in the presentation. So I like to show this every year. This is the revenues by source all funds. And so you'll see that the largest portion is, of course, sales tax, again, at 49%. We have three others that also help support the city at a larger degree. That is the property taxes, which we thankfully were able to have implemented in 2024. Licenses and permits at 11%, and then the utility taxes, which are the taxes on gross receipts, which are generally non-residential except for cell phones or phones. And that is for both residential and non-residential. This next slide then is the total expenditures for 2026, and you'll see that number is much higher than it was last year, and that is because it includes those facilities and other capital expenditures. Particularly, I want to note on this particular slide that we talk about how public safety is usually 50% of our budget, of our all funds budget. That is not the case this year, and while their expenses did increase at a moderate level, it's because we have those other capital projects and facilities projects, and when you put that all together, then of course the percentages have to be reduced in other areas because of the larger expenditures tied to the capital and facilities projects. So if you'll look at the right-hand side, and this is the last thing I'll cover on this particular slide, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see municipal buildings at 25%. That's substantial compared to last year. Last year it was only 13%. But again, that's where we're budgeting the facilities projects, and so that's why it's so much higher. On this particular slide, I just want to show the comparison between the 25 budget and the 26 budget. And I also want to point out, on here, this is just the expenditures. So sometimes in some of the slides, you'll see where I put the transfer out under there for a total, and sometimes I don't. In this particular one, all I'm doing is the expenditures. So I wanted to try to make an easier comparison in this particular one. So you'll see for general fund and road fund that those are very small increases. And then again, with capital and parks and stormwater, again, it's the same reason as I've explained before. So here are some details about the various items in the budget. As I mentioned before, with regard to sales tax, and I think we talked about this before, where we are anticipating diminished growth from prior years, and we've seen that in the past few months. And so the sales tax projections for the current year, the estimated actuals, as well as the 2026 numbers are flat. The biggest issue with that is in the general fund, the retail sales tax, that 1%, what we call the countywide sales tax, that's where we appear to be falling shorter than in the other two funds. And it's due to the distribution, partially of that money, and the fact that we have to do something called a redistribution, where some of the money that we receive gets redistributed back to the pool. So most of the money we receive is point of sale, which is an A, or classified as A. And then a smaller portion is pool or B. Unfortunately, though, when it gets redistributed, that reduces the amount of money that we have. For the other sales taxes, we don't have the same sharing formulas, and so we aren't impacted as much. Two other issues we have is that there is an increase in online shopping, and with that, then of course, not a direct impact on the tax, because then we don't receive the sales tax that generally would have been collected if it was purchased from a big box store or other type of store within the city of Town and Country. And then finally, I'm not sure if I had mentioned this before in any of the reports I sent out, but the Department of Revenue is changing allocations from A to B on certain properties, for example, when the property owner changes. And so we are challenging this, and our city attorney is looking into that with the Missouri Department of Revenue. And I'm grateful for his work on it. The only other item on this particular slide I want to talk about is the property tax, where we had agreed that we would provide some of the necessary funding for the ongoing facilities projects from the general fund property tax, and a majority of that actually is providing, actually almost all is covering those facilities projects as a transfer into the capital fund. Gross receipts, taxes, this one is where we're actually receiving increases in revenue, and you may have noticed this, that the costs have increased. The rates for the various gross receipts on water and electric and gas. You, of course, don't get the gross receipts tax, those are just, on the non-residential, but I'm just speaking of the actual utility itself, where you may have noticed increases, and it's just, the water has been extremely high in this past year, and we anticipate in 2026 for it to continue to increase. I made some notes here also about business licenses. We collect business licenses in 3 different ways, but the one where we saw some reductions has been on square footage. If you look though, you'll notice in 2025 that our numbers have improved. And I think a lot of that has to do with Ms. Forney, because she has worked on very diligently on collecting past dues. And so those numbers have increased better than what we had anticipated. And then I'm also mentioning interest income. So for the current year, 2025, we believe that we'll bring in about $729,000 in interest income by end of year. That will be the same for fiscal year 2026, because we will be using some of the money that we have in reserves that we were investing. We will be spending that money, so we won't have that amount of money available to spend. And we also anticipate some of our investment rates to reduce. So we still believe we'll have about $538,000 in total for all funds. So that's still a really good number. On this particular slide, I wanted to show you the year-end fund balance for a couple of years and explain those just really quickly. Particularly if you look at the bottom at 2023 actual, you'll see a large increase from the 2022. And that has to do with the American Rescue Plan Act money that we received from the federal government. We recognized that as revenue in fiscal year 2023, and that was $2.3 million. So that's what helped there. In 2024, we received our property tax for the first time, so that was what helped those numbers. Same with 2025 budget. Then in the 2025 estimate, we actually received about $180,000 one-time revenues that we did not anticipate to receive. And so that had to do with some refunds from Slate, and then the WCDC. I suddenly forgot what the code was for that.
Our West County Dispatch Center, those
Yes.
were the surplus distribution.
Yes, surplus distribution, thank you. And then, so for 2026, we just don't anticipate to have the numbers quite as high as what we had in 2025 budget. So there's a little bit of a drop there. Here are more detailed information on the general fund revenues. I'm not going to go through all of these. If you certainly have questions, you could please make a note of them and email the questions to me, and I'd be happy to respond to any of your questions. One of the ones I do want to point out, though, is what I highlighted here, and this has to do with video franchise fees and telecommunication fees. And in 2021, we received about $100,000 more than we're planning to receive in 2026. And that has to do with the Wayfair legislation that was put in place in around, it was 2022 or 2023, in the state legislature put that in place to help move forward the legislation on the use tax. And so we had to give up the $100,000 ourselves, and this and other municipalities, I'm sure, have given up certain amounts. The downside to us is that we don't have anything to net against that because we don't have a use tax or something else to help us with that. And here's another slide I'm not going to go through. This next slide shows general fund expenditures. The only item that was above what I would anticipate to be slightly above average is administration department. That is only because our auditors now require us to put an expense in called a bad debt expense, and that is for uncollectible property taxes. And so we have to put that in and report it as a current year expense. And so my estimate is $45,000. But because our department is so small, it really shoots that number up really high. So that is the only one that is high that I need to bring up. But I do have one that's extremely low, and that has to do with fire and ambulance with West County EMS and Fire Protection District. And you'll see it's less than 1% of an increase. It's only $35,574. And this is due partially to the renegotiation work that our city administrator took part in last year, as well as the reduction in the assessed values for commercial property, because the mathematical calculation takes that takes the assessed values into consideration, and because of the reductions in that, they're impacted in that way, and so our increase was minimal. So for road fund, I did put this one in blue so that you can see the transfer from other funds. And you can see that without the transfers, the road fund would not remain funded. It cannot survive on its own with the road and bridge fund tax that it receives. And then this particular slide explains in more detail the road fund expenditures. I'll just explain a couple to you. The asphalt road, asphalt resurfacing, 400,000, and that explains projected locations. Low Road, 245,000 in engineering. I have noted it's 65% grant funded. I did not put the math on here what that would be, and just so all of you understand, I just put the expense in here. I don't put what we're going to receive, net it out, because we have to pay the money for the expense before we get refunded that amount. And then the concrete slab replacements of $550,000. Next slide is the capital improvement fund. So again, you'll see the transfer from other funds close to the top of the slide, and that's the transfers that are received from the general fund and from the Parks and Stormwater Fund. And then the transfer to other funds, I probably should have highlighted these to make them more easy to see, so I apologize for that. The transfer to other funds is reflected in the other slide, it's just the opposite way. So these are for the road fund. And these are the projects that the capital improvement fund will pay for. One of the things I wanted to bring to your attention, that's at the very bottom of the slide, is that we now fund the ladder truck capital costs that's provided by West County EMS and Fire Protection District to provide the services to the city of Town and Country. And that ladder truck was here some months ago. It is just an amazing, it's just fabulous. I'm not sure if any of you saw it, but I was just rather impressed by it all. This slide is Parks and Stormwater Fund, same thing, where it shows the transfers in and out, and it shows you a history back to 2021. And then this slide shows the various expenditures tied to that fund. I put in blue the grant funded items, so you'll see I didn't put particularly the ones, but like Topping Road is grant funded. Preservation Park, and then 2 construction projects under miscellaneous stormwater. These slides I'm not going to go through, I'm just going to explain what they are. So these are our 5-year capital improvement program items, and the 2026 items are the items that we have in our budget right now. So this is for the road fund, if you see in the upper left-hand corner. This one is the capital fund, so this is not grant funded at all. There are no projects grant funded is what I mean in the capital fund. And then this is the Parks and Stormwater. This portion is Parks and Trails, and then this portion is the stormwater projects. So that's all I have to present tonight. I will provide this PowerPoint presentation. I can email it to each of you tomorrow, and please email me with any questions that you have.
Thank you. Yeah, Mayor, thank you very much, Joanne. And we do have the public hearing advertised for our next meeting, December the 8th And what we're asking the board to do is send any questions you may have to Joanne, hopefully early next week. We'll put together all the responses, and then during the public hearing, we will address any questions you may have, entertain any questions at that point, and that will be, again, our advertised public hearing on December the 8th. So appreciate the information, Joanne.
Bill number 2554 is continued to the meeting on Monday, December 8th, 2025, the second reading consideration. And Joanne, I would comment, for 1.5 million, the fire engine should look pretty damn. Next is bill number 25-55, sponsored by the board as a whole without objection, for the city clerk to read the bill for the first time.
Bill number 2555 is an ordinance regarding the rate of compensation for employees of the city of Town and Country and repealing ordinance number 4666.
Thank you. Bill number 25-55 is continued to the meeting of Monday, December 8th, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. Next, bill number 2556, sponsored by the board as a whole with the exceptions of Aldermen Hugh and Gerber. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2556 is an ordinance approving a deer management plan and authorizing a wildlife management service agreement between the city of Town and Country, Missouri and White Buffalo Inc. for professional deer management services.
Thank you. This bill number 2556 is continued to the meeting on Monday, December 8th, 2025, for the second reading consideration. Next, bill number 25-57, sponsored by the board as a whole without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2557 is an ordinance authorizing supplement number 2 to the professional services agreement work order with HR Green Inc. for additional engineering design services related to the Longview Farm Park parking lot resurfacing project.
Thank you. This bill number 2557 is continued also to the meeting of Monday, December 8th, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. I do not have anything else to discuss, but I will open it up if any of the aldermen have anything they would like to bring to our attention.
Mary, I just wanted to state for the record that the presentation that was done this evening by Ms. Jadali will be put on our website tonight as well and attached to the minutes.
Great.
So the public will have access.
Perfect. I seek a motion and second to adjourn.
So
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nice meeting. Thanks everybody for their attention and being.